Transgender 101. I'm Dr. Pete. I'm going to explain to you a little bit about what transgender is. Now, it doesn't mean that you're going to leave here today and have an understanding. In fact, when I do these workshops, what I say to the audience is, if you feel like your head is spinning, then you're trying to understand it and you're almost there. Because it's really maybe a construct that's not so easy for everyone. Gender is one's social expression of who they are. Sex is the biology. So sex would be the sexual organs such as the testicles, penis, or breast and vagina. And the gender is as one would see somebody to be male or female. For example, a male might be somebody who's more traditionally working in construction, whereas a female might be somebody who's tending for the kitchen. Now, I don't like gender stereotypes, but that gives you a sense about how gender is. While it's mostly a social construct, there's also biology behind it. Exposure in utero of androgen, which is one of the hormones, has shown to predict the gender expression of a child. So when somebody is transgender, it means that their sex, so the biological organ, does not line up with their gender identity. So that is the social construction as to how they really see themselves representative from their own perception. So that's the sex and the gender. So when they're in conflict with one another, this creates what we call gender dysphoria, whereas somebody is not seeing themselves as who they are, and that creates a lot of internal turmoil. What we know with the transgender population is that anxiety and depression are very common. In fact, we usually see high levels of social anxiety and some significant amounts of depression. So these are things that we treat as psychologists in trying to help these individuals. Now, this is just a very brief overview for what this is. I don't expect you to necessarily understand it. The one thing I'll leave you with is that gender identity is really on a spectrum. It's only us here in the West that identify as either male or female. This dichotomous one or the other, black and white. A lot of other cultures, I won't say most, a lot of other cultures in the world, traditionally like the Native Americans, they embrace multiple genders. There are third, fourth, fifth, and some cultures up to about 100 different genders. And so that's really, I think, where part of the problem lies, is that in the Western world, we've conditioned ourselves that everybody has to fall into one block, one box, one compartment. But not everybody does, because gender is fluid. So I may have a client who says, I feel male, but I'm not totally like a guy. So I feel more male than female. We have to be open and understanding that there's some flexibility around how people actually see their own gender expression. I'm Dr. Pete. I hope that helped. If you have more questions, just post it down below.